Hello and welcome to this new episode of Bootstrapping Your Dreams Show. I'm your host Manoj Agarwal, and today we are going to have a very interesting discussion with Dave Gandhi. Dave, he has a very inspirational story, which I will request him to introduce himself and share a little bit about his story. But he's one of the leading entrepreneurs, mentors, coaches who helps thousands and thousands of people around the globe find their passion and build a business around their passion. So welcome, Dave. Excited to have you here.
Thank you, Manoj. I'm equally excited. Thank you so much. It's very, very exciting to have somebody like you, do this show together. And hello to all the viewers as well. Good morning, good evening, wherever, whatever part you are, wherever you're based out.
Awesome, awesome. So before we get down into the weeds, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? How did you reach the level of success that you have reached so far? Take us down the memory lane and tell us a little bit about your history.
Yeah, so I'll break my life into three chunks, right? The first chunk is my childhood, where I come from, right? So I was born and brought up in a very small place, in fact, a small town called Adipur, Kutch, Gujarat. I was brought up in slums. My dad was a truck driver, and growing up, that first 20 years was very difficult. Didn't have the money, didn't have the resources. Mom and dad, they borrowed the money, took the loan, sold whatever little thing they had, just for me and my brother to get an English medium education. So that's where I come from, cutting the cost, cutting the corner. So just average student, right? So that 20 years. Next chapter, next phase of my life was 16 years, which was typically a 9 to 5 life, right? Got into BPO at the beginning, struggled to even get a job in BPO. My English was not so good. Not that it is great right now, but it was okay. In that 16 years, I learned a lot of things, but there was something missing. Like, man, I am growing and I'm making few lakhs a month, right? Few $1,000s a month, but there was no happiness, there was no satisfaction, there was no fulfillment. I was like, I don't have time freedom, I don't have passion. Money is okay, what am I working for? Right? And that is when
Mhm.
my journey actually started. The third
Mhm.
phase started when I started searching for the meaning of my life. That's when I
Mhm.
met my first mentor, Grant Cardone, who
Mhm.
gave me a new perspective, right? Finding yourself, 10x the goals, 10x your action. My life completely changed. That book, 10x rule, just blew my mind. And I
Mhm.
started developing my skills, right? Sales, marketing, branding, passion, book writing. That phase got me to the third phase of life, which enabled me to live this life today. Impacting thousands of lives, wrote a couple of books, traveling the world, um, you know became a multimillionaire in just 3.5 years. So I still cannot believe it's still a dream for me. I'm still trying to make myself realize that yes, it is also possible. But yeah, following the passion and impacting lives is something that I really live for every single day.
That's awesome. Very inspiring story. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, I will ask one thing here. A lot of people go through similar phases in their life, just like you have gone through, and they they realize that there is something missing, but most people cannot do what you have done. So, was there any particular trigger which sort of prompted you to take some action, reaching out to people like Grant Cardone? Like, what was happening in your life? What triggered that sort of burning desire for you to take more action than most people do?
Yeah. So I clearly remember this was when I had joined my last company that I was worked for. There was one meeting, right, in one of big hotel, and the CEO said, if you do 100%, I mean, if you give you 100%, I'll make sure I'll give you 150% of return. That was a trigger that, oh wow, I mean, it's a new company, new chapter, new life. For my whole life, whole career, I've been in sales, right, from BPO to I've moved into sales quickly. But I really never aimed to be the top notch salesperson and being the A player. I said, I'm going to be the topper, man. And that is what triggered me to go to YouTube. As you know what, if I want to be a topper in sales, I need to know everything about sales. And the irony of life is, I never learned anything about sales. Everything I learned was just by default, right? So imagine a doctor not studying doctorate, right?
Yeah.
And a lawyer not studying law books, a salesperson not studying sales. I was like, wow, why did it not struck me? So I went and went to YouTube as a sales training, right? I said, if I want to be a top person, I need to be a great sales as well, skills. I found Grant Cardone that time.
I
And
see.
moment I followed him, everything started to change. Everything started, it made me realize how mediocre I was. everything in my life was mediocre, right? My goals, my ambitions, my dreams, my lifestyle, everything. Then I realized this is a disease and I need to change that. That was the trigger for me. And then when I changed myself, I said, man, I want to help others to do the same thing. The feeling that I'm having, I'm really energetic. I'm really happy of, following this 10x level action. I want to kill the mediocrity. I've already done it. I want to help others as well. So that was my trigger.
That's awesome. Now, one other sort of phenomena that happens around this time frame, which I have experienced in my life and many other people's lives, is when you start to change. A lot of people try to pull you down, and they say, "Oh, something's wrong with you. Like what is going on with you? I don't like this new version of you, and you are going down the wrong path. You are going to repent this." Like, all these kind of things happen. Did something like that happen to you as well?
So I didn't have the very hard pushback, but I definitely had the soft ones. It was not like, hey, you'll fail, you'll all that. I actually, because I was from sales and I learned from Grant Cardone and Dan Locke and a high ticket closing, I was able to persuade the people around me, my family members, that, give me 12 months. Let
I
me
see.
walk
I
this
see.
path. And if I
I see.
don't do anything in 12 months, I'm going to go back to job and I will
Mm,
just put my head down and work, work, work. That's all. Right.
mm,
Now, again, I don't think anything is wrong in job as long as you're
mm,
happy. But if you're
mm,
somebody who wants to explore and you want to do more in life, have a,
mm,
bigger things that you want to do, then you
mm,
probably want to find a different way. So I was able to convince, but at the beginning, people laughed at me. A lot of
mm,
people laughed at me that, look, oh, Dev ko kya pata chalta hai? What does he
mm,
know about sales? He's talking
mm,
about sales and content and all that. And some of
mm,
my close family members said, what motivation, what quotes and
mm,
what posts
mm,
and what videos you make. Look the way you move your mouth. And
mm,
I find it very funny. I said, not
mm,
these posts are not for you. You can
mm,
unfollow me because we meet anyways. We meet literally every
mm,
day, so you don't
mm,
have to follow me on social media. So
mm,
those kind of soft, pushes that I got, not a hard one, because I was very clear that I'm going to do this. And the funny part,
mm,
you won't believe, Manuj, when I started investing in my self development, I did not tell anybody that I'm
mm,
investing in myself, because that would have been again a battle for me to convince
mm,
them and tell them. So in the first year of my self development journey, I spent about 12 to 13 lakh rupees, which is about, I don't know, $15,000, right?
mm.
$15,000 first time I ever invested in myself, whole year learning multiple skills. Nobody knew how much money I've invested, where I've invested. And that's when I built my skills and I said, give me 12 months now. I'm going to quit
Mm.
my job and I'm going to build a business. So that was the situation.
That's awesome. All right. So you mentioned earlier, you had to learn branding, you had to learn marketing, and you had to learn sales. And once again, after working with so many entrepreneurs, so many like Silicon Valley billionaires and all that, I still cannot believe that a lot of people do not really know the distinction between marketing, branding, sales. So can you share a little bit about what is your perspective? What is branding? What is marketing? What is sales?
Yeah, the way I look at marketing is a big umbrella, right? And within that, all your branding, funnels, basically marketing is nothing but how you can attract people to your universe, right? You have a
Mm,
universe.
mm,
Marketing does that. How do you attract people?
mm,
How do you retain people, right? And that is what marketing does. So attract,
mm,
retain, attract, retain.
mm,
Sales is conversion, right? You have
mm,
people footfall into your universe. How do you
mm,
convert them from being interested to being bought it, right? So that is the
mm,
difference according to me. And both have very, very different processes, right? Marketing has
mm,
different funnels. Sales has different process to convert from
mm,
where they are. So if I look at the funnel, I look at attraction, nurture. So attraction and nurture is basically falls into marketing and
mm,
branding and all those things.
mm, mm,
Then comes the third stage of the funnel, which is convert, right? And
mm,
then from convert, fourth step comes to retain or
mm,
experience, right? So
mm, mm,
convert and experience typically falls into sales. So this is what
mm.
my perspective is.
That's awesome. That's great. Very good advice. And what about branding? Because obviously you have built a global brand, and you were able to do that very quickly. And again, what I will say is a lot of companies invest millions of dollars in building a brand, and they spend years and years and years, and they cannot generally even break the first phase of building a brand. So what was your experience like, and how were you able to build that brand so quickly?
See, branding, I think a lot of people, especially the big companies, what I have noticed is a lot of people look at the brand as a company and the
Mm,
product. So the brand can be different, right? There can be a product brand, there could be company brand. But what I really love is the personal brand. Like, you know what, you
mm,
build a great brand. So
mm,
ever since I started in 2017, 2018, I said, I'm going to build a personal brand. Because if you look at Elon Musk's personal brand, right? Richard
mm,
Branson's personal brand,
mm,
what is so amazing about building a personal brand is once you have a personal brand that stays permanent with you,
mm,
and
mm,
anything you touch gives you elevation very fast,
mm,
versus if
mm,
you build a product brand or company brand. So if you're to build a company and you put a lot of marketing effort in building that brand, when you're starting a second company, again you need to
yeah,
start from scratch. Versus if
mm,
you have a personal brand, whether it's the first company, second company, third company, you are
mm,
the brand, you are the business. And when you are the brand, when you are the business, everything starts turning out to be wonderful. So
yeah,
I've seen a lot of companies who are becoming faceless,
yeah,
right?
yes, yes,
They just
yes,
put out the product and marketing. But any CEO or any this, executive, the top notch people, if they started when they went into public and spoke about the content value, wrote the books, when they build a personal brand, company is bound to grow, right? I think Manoj from Xiaomi, Manu Sharma, right, from Xiaomi, great personal brand, right? Those are the people I think we all should replicate and emulate. See, gone are those days when 10, 20 years ago, when we had faceless organizations, nobody
yeah,
cared who is running it, who is the face of it. But now it's very personal economy, right? It's a
yeah,
personal brand economy, and anybody who build a personal brand will shine out. So that's what I did right from the beginning. Did a
mm,
lot of detailed analysis of who is Dave Gadhvi, and a lot of people don't know how do you build your personal brand. So maybe a few tips for the audience is, first and for branding is not just what you wear, your colors, your
mm,
logos. It's
mm,
just not that. That's aesthetic, right? But
mm,
what
mm,
truly the branding is, what do you stand for? Like, what does
yeah,
Nike stand for, right? Just do it. What is the
mm,
philosophy of your brand? What are the
mm,
values of your brand? Once you have the
mm,
philosophy and values clear, that is what you need to articulate with the colors, the fonts, and the textures. Everything should be congruent with that. If your
mm,
is calming the mind, then all the colors, the musics and jingles and the clothes, everything has to suit with that. So
mm,
your business is nothing but your reflection of you.
yeah,
But how would
yeah,
you find your reflection unless you don't know who you are and what is your personal
exactly,
brand? that
exactly.
is that is my take on branding.
No, that's very well said. Thank you so much for explaining it in detail. And you're absolutely right. Like, if you look at all these, famous entrepreneurs, Steve Jobs and Elon Musk and all that, they can start multiple companies because they have personal brand. Every company they start or launch is going to leverage that personal brand, and very likely will succeed. So, absolutely correct. Now, you also brought up a very good point. Like, you have to figure out who you really are. And I feel like that is where most people really make the mistake of trying to emulate other people. And rather than understanding their own personal selves, try to look at, okay, who's successful, I will be like that person. um, what do you think? What are your views around this? Because you've all obviously helped so many other people. How do you think that other people look at building their personal brand?
Well, you're right. You're right. I think you and I, we both know that 90% of the businesses, they fail in first 5 years.
Yeah, yeah,
Then the remaining remaining 9% out of 10% fail in next 5 years.
yeah,
And if you look at that, there's a common trend, common pattern. Most of the businesses they failed because of lack of revenue, lack
yeah.
of cash flow. But
Mm,
that is not the root cause. The
mm,
root the root cause of business failing is lack of clarity of their why. Why do
mm,
they exist? What
mm,
is their mission? What is their vision? Most of them, they started because they want to copy somebody. You know what? This is, what na behti ganga mein haath dhona, right?
mm,
Let me just ride the wave. Everybody is, going, everybody's going crypto. Let me go crypto. Everybody going NFT. Let
yeah,
me go NFT. Everybody digital marketing. Let me go digital marketing. So we have this culture, the sheep culture. Sheep just follow each other, right?
yeah, yeah,
Meh,
yeah,
meh, meh. This is the reason why people fail. There's nothing
mm,
unique. Now think about this, right? When I went, I don't know about you, Manoj, but when I was graduating, when I was choosing my stream, arts, commerce, science in India, there was no logic. You're like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, exactly.
everybody's going commerce, let me go commerce. And there's like, if
Yeah.
everybody's getting 60% plus commerce, 70,
Yeah.
80% science, anything less than 50,
Mhm.
60 arts. Like what? Where is this rule coming from? There is no rule like that.
Mhm.
But right
Yeah.
from the education, we've been trained like this, that safety in numbers, right? Do what others are doing so you'll be safe. That is not true. In fact, every time there's a quote, right? Every time you find yourself with the majority, you should stop, reflect, and reconsider what you're doing, right? You have to be part of the
Absolutely.
minority. You can only be minority when you be you. So there's a great framework I teach my students as well, that how can you be you is, if you have to choose a winning idea, right? Business fail because of two things. One, they don't have a winning idea. Second, they
Yeah.
don't have winning process. So first, how do you find the winning idea so that you don't fail? There are
Mhm.
three steps. If all three meets, that is a winning idea. Your passion, purpose, your skills, and your demand, market demand.
Mhm.
If all three meets, then you have a winning idea. But most of the people, they just focus on demand. What does the
Yeah.
market want? Right? Let me
Yeah.
just do that.
Exactly.
They're not passionate about it. They may or may not have skills. That's why they fail. So knowing who you are, what is your mission, what is your vision, because there's you are unique. Business can be similar, but you are
Yeah.
unique. Your mission,
Yeah.
your vision, your passion, your values, no one person can be just like you. Like Manoj is
Yeah.
Manoj, Dev is Dev. I
Exactly.
can't be. Manoj has to be Manoj, Dev has to do what Dev feels right.
Yeah.
We both have unique elements, we both create value in our own unique ways. I think this is one of the reasons why most of the people in companies fail.
Yeah, absolutely well said. All right. So, as you said that as you start to build the brand, you have to make adjustment. You have to make learn from your mistakes. So, can you tell us what was that journey like? What kind of major challenges did you face in your entrepreneurial journey, especially when you were trying to go upstream, meaning you had disadvantages. I say that because I can empathize, because I have gone through very similar challenges as you have, being in India with little, with a lot of competition, with very little resources. So what were those challenges like?
I still remember, Manoj, the first time when I did my first physical workshop, I planned a campaign. When I quit my job in April 2018, I said, okay, I'm going to do a campaign. Dal roti to milna chahiye. We need to have food on the table, right? So, okay, what is my minimum survival amount? And I chalked out, I need 20 lakh rupees, minimum survival amount. And there's probably $25,000 or something, if I'm not mistaken. So I needed that kind of money, $2,000 or $3,000 every month coming in. Okay, how do I get there? Okay, I designed my first program, Passionpreneur Mastermind. Great, I'm gonna have Passionpreneur Mastermind. I'm gonna coach and mentor people to find their passion, build a business around it. Okay, how do I get people? I need 1 lakh per person, right? So roughly about $1,500 per person for 1 year. So I need minimum 20 to 25 people. And so, okay, how do I get 20 to 25 people to believe in what I have to offer and they sign up? I designed a campaign. So 6 physical workshop in 6 different cities, all 4 stars, 5 stars, fully paid, fully covered with great buffet and all. First workshop that I did was in Gurgaon, and I started doing the campaigning on LinkedIn, and people started signing up, all that. 60 people, I had 60 people who had applied, and out of that I approved about 25 to 30 people. When I went for the first day there, 10 o'clock was reporting time. Only hardly 5 to 10 people showed up. I waited for one more hour, only 20 people showed up. And at the end of the workshop, nobody bought.
Oh
That was a
wow.
big heart attack for me. And I usually don't cry, but that was the day I had literally tears in my eyes. When everybody
Mm,
left the hall, I went in the corner of the hall, my heart just sank and tears rolling from my eyes. And man,
mm,
is this the end of my journey? One side, I've already quit the job. I don't have the
mm,
cushion now. I don't have a lot
mm,
of savings. And this is my
mm,
first campaign, first workshop. I have 5 more workshops like that. People don't believe in me. This is the
mm,
end of Dave Gadhvi's journey. That was one of the lowest moments. So
mm,
summarize, the second workshop then I did, and where changed my pitch, I changed my conversion strategy and all, and I signed up 6 people, right? So I signed up
mm,
6 people. Mumbai, that was in Pune, and then Mumbai I signed up 9 people. So end of this, I signed up more than 33 people. But the biggest challenge that I had is for me to expand my context.
mm, mm,
We usually get caught up in doing mini things, micro things, content and all that. But the business and life is all about expanding the context. If you
Mhm.
expand your context bigger and bigger and bigger, then your life and your business will become bigger and bigger. I'll give you an example, and I'm sure you'll know it.
Yeah, yeah.
First year in business, the challenges that I had were completely different. When I had just 1 crore, I made in 1 crore $150,000 in first year. It was different. Second year, when I made 2.5 crores, almost double, again different challenge. Third year, different challenge. Fourth year, different challenge. I literally have to kill this Dev Gadhvi every year and to be
Mhm.
reborn as a new Dev Gadhvi with a new context, with new risk appetite. And I just keep pushing myself. But that is a challenge when we are so caught up into our own thinking and our own small thinking. So all my fellow entrepreneurs, I want to request you that as you go higher, you have to first be a doer. At the first year, you have to be do. Second year, maybe when you have a team and you delegate things, you have to be manager.
Mhm.
Manage. People do it, right? Create org structure. Third year onwards, if you're growing at a very rapid pace, then you have to think more.
Mhm.
So you go from doing to managing to thinking. And I realized that I need to have a lot of thinking time. It's not doing is not going to give me more. I need to have delegation and leverage other things. So the biggest challenge that I had is how do I get my me time and keep expanding my context and kill
Yeah,
myself
yeah.
every year to bigger and better things.
Absolutely. Yeah, time is the most precious commodity, and you're absolutely right. Uh, everybody can, you can hire people for every other skill, but the vision that you have as an entrepreneur, where you want to take the company, that is something you cannot delegate. So you're absolutely right there. Now, tell us a little bit about, one interesting thing you mentioned here, which I will like to explore. You were looking for clients during your first workshop, and you wanted them badly, yet you said you approved only handful of them. So can you dig a little bit deeper into that? Like, why did you do that? What was the criteria? What is the lesson that you want to share with fellow entrepreneurs? Because I really like that approach, but I would like to understand your point of view. Why did you do that?
Oh man, I still cannot believe it. If you ask me what is the lowest point of your career and life, I would say that event was the lowest point of my career. I desperately needed money. I desperately needed people to sign up for the mentorship. But I told myself that if I just bend my standard because of the circumstances, I know I'll pay a bigger cost and I'll lose more than losing few clients right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that is what I wanted to do. And all the people who are entrepreneurs, you will be tested by universe. You will be
Mhm.
punched, you will be kicked, you will go down. But when you hold your ground, then and you can sustain the energy and the momentum despite all those things happening, that is your true metal. Your true metal, your true mindset is tested. So I was very
Mhm.
clear that I'm going to go all in, that I will still choose my mentees, right? Whether I have money or no, I will still do it. So when nobody, when I asked the question in Gurgaon, who would like
Yeah,
to join the Passionpreneur Mastermind, one
yeah,
second no hand went up, 2 seconds no hand went up, 3 seconds no hand went up. I literally started, my heart sank at that time. Same question I asked in Pune as well, right? So who would like to join the Passionpreneur Mastermind, right? No hand went up. 1 second, no hand went up. 2 seconds, no hand went up. Third second, no. And again, life started flashing back. Oh
yeah.
man, Boria Bistar Lapeto, I think I have to go pack up and go home.
Yeah.
but then one hand went up. Two, three, four, 11 people said that, oh, we want to join your mentorship program. I said, wow, that's good. But I said, you know what? I will only shortlist few people who are ready to learn from me. And when I
Mhm.
made all the people stand up who raised their hand, and as I started asking them, so why do you want to join Passion Brand Mastermind? So they asked, give explanation, and they had to sell themselves to me. And I said, why do you think you should be shortlisted? I was like, oh, nobody asked this, and even in India, a lot of people don't do
Yeah,
that interview before they bring people into their mentorship and programs.
yeah, yeah.
And I shortlisted six of them, and I rejected few of them. When I said no,
Mhm.
I don't think you're ready. Everybody like, huh? He's rejecting people. They're ready to pay the money, and he's saying no, you're not ready. So the other
Yeah,
people's commitment went up.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I did it genuinely because I knew that there's no point of bringing somebody on board when they don't have the right mindset and attitude. It is just going to fail. So I wanted to build the foundation. So all of you, when you need money and everything desperately, still do not lose your ethics. Do not lose your standard.
Mhm.
Do not lose your principles, because principles and ethics is what's going to build your life, not just the money. Money will be the byproduct. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I did.
I think that's absolutely fantastic. Congratulations on doing that. I mean, that is a very a deep lesson that a lot of people tend to ignore, and I think it's related to building that personal brand as we were talking about, because they compromise on multiple things, which is and this is one of them, which is allowing people who are not ready into your life, into your business. So that's great. Now you have done so many things right, so many things right, and you have achieved all this success. uh, can you share a few mistakes as well that you may have made, and that may have cost you money or may have cost you some other things, but those are the mistakes that made you learn some important lessons, and maybe other entrepreneurs can learn those lessons as well.
That's a very good question. I think the biggest mistakes, okay, one of the biggest mistakes that I made was when I was a mentor, I was trying to be everybody's friend.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I realized that's such a big disaster, because you can't be both. You can't be a mentor and a friend. You can be a friend, mentor, a mentor. Because when you break that boundary, people
mm-hmm,
will become too friendly and take you for granted. Now it is not their fault. I
mm-hmm.
allowed them in my life, and when the time came to act as a mentor, it was very difficult because they will take you for granted. For them, you are Dave Gadhvi, who was a friend, accessible, and all that. That I had to course correct over a period of time, and I kept
Mm-hmm.
paying the price for so many years, because I was naive. I did not know better, and I just I said, hey, everybody's a friend, everybody's fine. I know, right? That's for a big mistake. Second mistake that I made is I treated my team also as my family members, and I used to always use
Mm-hmm.
this word: we are a family, we are a family, we are a family. And I don't know why I did that, but I wanted to create that environment. But I realized that having a team, don't treat them as a family. Like, love them, have compassion, care for them, but don't treat them as a family. Treat them as a sports team,
Mm-hmm.
athletic team. And the day when I shifted that perspective, I was like, oh wow, right? Because you can have a person who is very hardworking, loyal, compassionate, but they don't produce much result.
Yeah, yeah,
In fact, they're pulling the team down, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not working. It was good at one point of time. They were great at what they were doing, but the mission and the company has grown to so big level or whatever super fast. They've not been able to catch up. The
yeah,
skills
yeah,
have
yeah.
become little, not up to the mark that is required for the new role. And
Mhm.
then at that situation, if I still take the person as a family member and don't give the feedback, don't fix things, or don't let people
Yeah,
move
yeah,
out, then everybody pays the price, and all your team members' morale will go down. So I think
yeah.
these are the couple of big mistakes that I made.
Those are
And
those
when I had to
great
let
advice.
people go, oh, very painful, man. Lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
drama, a lot of emotions, and probably
Mm.
it's not even their fault. As a new first time CEO, I learned the lesson the hard way, that this could
Yeah,
have been
yeah,
much better, right? So
yeah, yeah. No, that's a great piece of advice. Now, you started in 2018, a very, very interesting time to start a business, and a lot of transition happened in 2020, and we are still going through a huge transition. How do you see the business landscape has changed in the past few years from where when you started in 2018?
yeah, after 2020, the corona and lockdown, a lot of things have changed. I see a lot of people went from offline to online model. A lot of people went from pure offline to a hybrid model, right? So we went from
Mhm.
offline, everything changed. The way we
Mhm.
perceive content changed, way we learn changed, way we deliver value changed. I realized one thing, that if you really want to succeed in business, you need to understand the concept of atom versus bit.
Mhm.
Atom is your typical brick and mortar businesses, right? The
Mhm.
tiny molecule atom for anything physical. Bit is the tiniest molecule of anything digital. I
Yeah.
realize anybody who shifted their perception and business from atom to bit business, technology,
Mhm.
all right, or they adapted the new way of doing things and made a hybrid business, they really grew. For example,
Mhm.
farmers in India, they make about 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs a year,
Mhm.
normal farmer in an
Mhm.
income
Mhm.
by producing the crops and
Mhm.
food and everything.
Mhm. Mhm.
But because of the new age that we are living in, knowledge zenith age, they bring people, and they become agri-tourism has become a hot industry right now. So they
Oh,
bring
nice.
people
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
cities and different places, and they let them live in their small
Yeah.
houses, and
Yeah.
work them in the farm. They give them experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think
Mm.
about how it was. Like earlier experience was only going to fancy places,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
going to grand places and monuments. Now
Mm.
tourism has shown a different face of it. Like you have to go to small
Nice.
place
Nice.
and live like a farmer. So that has
Yeah. Yeah.
changed.
Mm.
Education has completely changed. The people way people consume things, learning physical to online, not just a formal education. I saw a huge jump in my business because of 2020, right? I built $2 million revenue just because of everybody sitting at home and doing that. So those
Yeah.
things that's going to change. Payments and apps and technology, these things have changed. So whether you're in restaurant business or whether you're in physical brick and mortar business, you as an entrepreneur, if you cannot acquire the hybrid model or the bit business, you're going to struggle a big time. So that is my
Mm.
advice to all the people, that this is life has changed, man.
Yeah.
Anybody who is with the old thinking, old school thinking, they will become dinosaur, right? We
Yeah.
will become dinosaur. Business is going to become dinosaur. So don't fall in love with your business or your product. Fall in
Yeah.
love with your consumer and the problem that you can solve for them. This business is just a vehicle. This can change, right? Focus on how you can add
Absolutely.
more value. That's my take.
Absolutely. That's great advice. Yeah, I mean, we are going digital. I mean, the shift was already happening, but 2020 accelerated it immensely. So you correctly said, like, everybody should think about going digital, because the next 10 years, I believe, is going to totally change the world in terms of how we live, work, and play. So um, anyway, this has been a great conversation. Thank you so much, Dave. And I apologize, I pronounced your last name incorrectly earlier. I realized.
That's okay.
Apologies for that.
That's okay.
Now, before I let you go, can you tell us, if people want to reach out to you and they want to connect with you, what is the best way they can do that?
I social media is the best way, right? So if you can just search Dave Gadhvi 10x, you will find me on Instagram, you'll find me on Facebook, you'll find me on LinkedIn as well. If you really want to not just follow me, you want to know more about me, more about journey, I highly recommend you check out the book 80% mindset, 20% skills. Right? If you go to
Mm,
my website as well, you can get a free download copy, and there's an audiobook as well on YouTube as
nice,
well. So
nice.
80% mindset, 20% skill. This book has been reviewed by more than 800, 30 plus people, and still
Mm,
has 4.5-star rating. And having a book
nice,
written
nice.
in India on a mindset, on self development, getting that kind of rating is
Mm,
crazy. I had recently had an interview. I interviewed Chetan Bhagat on my show, and he
mm.
said that, oh wow, if your book has got that much review, my book also similar. It's just that I got few more thousands, but
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
India, you're doing that great. So that is the best way to, if you really want to know more about my journey and learn more about me, that's the place.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for spending your time and sharing all this wisdom with us. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Manoj. Thank you so much. I'm
Thank,
very excited
thank,
and wish you the best.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.